What if love didn't begin with a spark or a perfect moment, but with a simple promise that slowly changes everything? Turkish dramas have this beautiful way of turning small commitments into deep, emotional love stories that feel incredibly real. Sometimes a promise is made to protect someone, sometimes out of duty, and sometimes without even realizing how much it will matter later. But as time passes, that one promise starts building trust, connection, and feelings that neither of them expected. And honestly, that's what makes these stories so special. Nothing feels rushed or forced. You actually see how love grows step by step through struggles, sacrifices, and quiet moments. It's not always perfect, but it feels honest and relatable. In this list, we're diving into Turkish series where love begins with a promise and slowly turns into something unforgettable. These are the kind of stories that pull you in gently and then make it impossible to stop watching. On number 10 we have Vicdansiz. Honestly, this drama starts with a promise that doesn't feel romantic at all. It's more about responsibility and guilt. The main character makes a commitment that slowly pulls them into someone else's life, and at first, it feels heavy, almost like a burden. But as they spend more time together, things begin to change in a very natural way. You start noticing the small moments, the way they understand each other without saying much, the way that cold distance slowly turns into care. And before you even realize it, that promise becomes the reason they can't stay apart. It's not flashy or dramatic love, it's quiet, real, and slowly built. And that's exactly why it hits so hard from the very first episode. On number 9 we have Kuruluş Orhan. Now this one is a bit different because it mixes history with romance, but the emotional core is still very strong. The love story here begins with a promise tied to loyalty, duty, and honor, not just personal feelings. At first, it feels like everything is about responsibility, but slowly, you start seeing real emotions grow underneath all that. The connection between the characters develops through trust, respect, and shared struggles. What makes it special is that their love isn't easy, it's tested again and again. But that initial promise becomes the foundation of something real and powerful. And honestly, that slow emotional build makes it even more satisfying to watch. On number 8 we have Güller ve Günler. This drama shows how a promise made in complicated circumstances can turn into something deeply emotional. At the beginning, everything feels a little messy. There are secrets, misunderstandings, and emotional tension. But in the middle of all that chaos, the connection between the couple starts to grow. You can actually feel the shift from obligation to genuine care. The way they slowly open up to each other feels very real. And that's what makes this story stand out. The love doesn't come easy. It grows through pain, mistakes, and forgiveness. It's intense, emotional, and honestly, very addictive from the start. On number 7 we have Kıskanmak. This one takes a darker, more emotional route where a promise is tied to deep feelings like jealousy and insecurity. At first, the relationship feels complicated and even a little uncomfortable. But as the story moves forward, you begin to understand the emotions behind everything. The characters are flawed, they make mistakes, but that's what makes it feel real. The promise here isn't perfect, it's messy, emotional, and sometimes painful. But through all that, a connection starts to form that you can't ignore. It's one of those dramas where love grows in unexpected ways, and it keeps you hooked because you want to see how it all unfolds. On number 6 we have Aşk-ı Mahkum. This drama starts with a promise that feels almost forced, like something the characters didn't really choose for themselves. But that's where the beauty of the story begins. At first, there's distance, hesitation, even resistance between them. But slowly, those walls start to come down. You begin to see small signs of care, little moments that turn into something bigger. And before you know it, that forced promise turns into a real emotional bond. The chemistry builds naturally, and the journey feels very believable. It's the kind of story where love doesn't happen instantly, but when it does, it feels completely real. On number 5 we have Aşk-ı Hatırla. This one feels really emotional right from the start, because the promise here is connected to the past. It's not something new, it's something unfinished. The characters reconnect because of that one promise, and at first, it feels a bit awkward, like they're not sure where they stand anymore. But as they spend time together, those old emotions slowly come back. You can feel the history between them in every scene. The way they talk, the way they look at each other, it all feels very real. And honestly, that's what makes this story special. It shows how a promise from the past can turn into something even stronger in the present. It's soft, emotional, and really hard to disconnect from once you start watching. On number 4 we have Eşref Rüya. This drama has a very calm and almost dreamy vibe, but the emotions are still very deep. The love story begins with a promise that feels simple, but slowly becomes something meaningful. What I really like here is how natural everything feels. There's no rush, no over-the-top drama, just two people slowly getting closer. Their connection grows through understanding, not just attraction. You can actually actually see how that promise creates trust between them, and from there, everything else builds. It's one of those stories that feels peaceful but still keeps you emotionally attached the whole time. On number 3 we have Bir Zamanlar Istanbul. This one brings a mix of nostalgia and emotion, where a promise made in the past starts shaping everything in the present. At first, it feels like just a memory, something that was left behind. But as the story unfolds, that promise begins to reconnect lives in unexpected ways. The characters are drawn back to each other, and slowly, feelings start to grow again. What makes it beautiful is how realistic it feels, like life bringing people back together when you least expect it. It's emotional, a little bittersweet, and very easy to get attached to. On number 2 we have Kardelenler. This drama really shows how a simple promise can turn into something deeply emotional over time. At the beginning, it feels like just a responsibility, something that has to be done. But as the characters spend more time together, that responsibility slowly turns into care, and then into something much deeper. You can actually see the emotions changing step by step. Their bond feels very genuine, and the chemistry doesn't feel forced at all. It's the kind of story where love grows quietly, but once it's there, you can really feel it. And honestly, that makes it even more powerful. On number 1 we have Gassel. Honestly, this one hits differently. The promise here is not just emotional, it's heavy, meaningful, and deeply personal. It connects the characters in a way that feels unavoidable. At first, everything feels serious, almost distant, but slowly, through shared moments and understanding, that connection starts to change. You begin to see warmth, care, and something deeper forming underneath. What makes this drama stand out is how real it feels. The love doesn't come easy. It grows through experience, through emotion, through time. And by the end, that one promise turns into something truly unforgettable. From the very first episode, it pulls you in and doesn't let go. So these were the Turkish series where love begins with a promise, and slowly turns into something real and unforgettable. Which of these stories did you like the most? And is there any drama you think should be on this list? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and want more Turkish drama recommendations like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because your next favorite love story might be just one video away.